Very happy indeed to provide for you this morning as a preface to our inaugural New American Jobs Summit, a quick snapshot of some brand new research that we've undertaken addressing this very important topic of the future of work. Now, the objective thereof, of course, is to quantify a number of the trends that we'll be speaking about today, and we get a view to those trends through the lens of perspective from senior leaders across the industry. And in fact, we addressed, as you can see, over 300 of them with our online survey just a couple of months ago. So I think perspective from senior leaders is exactly the kind of information that we would want to capture when we're examining the narrative of the future of work. I can't think of a better group of people to provide those details and those opinions. Who are senior leaders? Well, we're talking about C-level executives, presidents, founders, in other words, key decision makers that are sharing with us their thoughts on this very important topic. And let me tell you, their voice comes through loud and clear on a number of the narratives that will be explored today. And let me show you what I mean. Starting with job skills requirements within the next 5 years. So the good news is that as you expect, senior leaders have an eye to growth. They're strategizing to grow their businesses. And in fact, 70% say they plan to hire more employees. But more importantly, I think, is at the top. Nearly 9 in 10 say that they're going to need more employees with technical skills. Now, straight away, we have a confirmation point here from these senior leaders on one of the major focuses of the New American Jobs Summit, and that is examining and discussing this changing landscape of skills requirements as those requirements shift into a more technical direction and orientation. And third here, also, over half say that they plan to automate certain job functions to remain competitive. Now, there are two key words in that statement: functions and competitive. We're talking about automating job functions, that is, certain facets of an individual job, not replacing an entire job with an automated process. And secondly, competitive. So the end game here with this automation is to maintain that competitive edge. We pontificate at CTA regularly for the need to safeguard innovation, and we want an innovation-led economy. But here, to maintain that competitive edge, ostensibly in an increasingly competitive global marketplace where the playing field is far from level, we need space to also automate certain processes, again, to maintain that competitive edge. Moving on to talk a little bit more about automation. What's interesting here, and you can see some of the top-line stats at the top, but I think more interesting is right there in the middle, the sweet spot of 44% that say some, in terms of the quantity of functions that would be automated, some of those would be automated. I think this is what we would expect to see because there are very few businesses indeed that could automate most job functions either in the office or on the factory floor. So 44% as the strong suit in this question makes sense. And what about finding skilled candidates? Well, here these senior leaders shared with us their thoughts on the state of play today and 5 years from now. And it's not exactly a pretty picture, is it? Today, we see very strongly their voice saying it's rough out there. The sum of difficult and somewhat difficult being about 71%. But to me, what brings this very telling statistic into very sharp relief is actually the 1% that say it's easy. That number right there says much about the state of play for finding skilled candidates. Only 1% say it's easy. And in 5 years, the expectation is it's not going to get that much easier. We have a plurality in the data showing either it's going to stay the same or, in fact, could get worse. And I think as we explore this topic of future of work at the New American Jobs Summit today, I think our hope is that this perspective will slowly change, as Gary talked about with policy advocacy and educational efforts, hiring veterans and so forth, that this perspective would change, and hopefully these senior leaders would eventually say, it's getting better, it's getting easier. we can advance the slide. It's the last one. There we go. Last one in this snapshot is dealing with hiring practices. And in this connected age, the 21st century, this era of social media, not surprising to see sites like LinkedIn topping the list in terms of recruitment. And many of you who are business owners or managers in the room, no doubt you yourself have turned to social media for recruiting purposes and finding those skilled candidates. But with any good research, you're going to get answers to many questions, but you're also going to unearth new questions. And so my question with these results is this the distribution that we need to see as we move forward? I would answer no. I think we want to see more engagement with hiring veterans, as Gary talked about with our investment with U.S. Tech Vets. Also through educational programs, either community colleges or universities, vocational training programs as they start to expand their curriculum beyond the core trades into coding academies and things of that nature. So would we want to see some changes here? Again, I think so. And there you have it. That concludes the snapshot, and I do mean you have it because in your event portfolio we've enclosed a copy of our research brief on the future of work. We hope that you enjoy looking at that, and as always, happy to take your feedback and any questions. And thank you again for attending our New American Jobs Summit today. Thank you.